Let me know if you can hear me. Let me if I can set everything right. Okay, can you see everything? Let me see if I can bring up the chat. Let me see. Okay, it says I'm live. How do I get to see the chat? How do I get to see the chat? Huh. How do I get to see the chat? I'm new to all of this. This is... live. How do I get to see the chat? There we go. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? If you're in chat, say hello. Because I know my last live that I did last week, let me see if I turn on my volume. My last live that I did last week, ended up losing the volume after 30 minutes. So I've disconnected Bluetooth and did all the recommendations that they say so that hopefully I won't lose the volume, because it was such a shame. I spent 2 hours and 40 minutes making all sorts of fabulous things. So today, hopefully we'll have power hold, because it's a blustery, stormy day here. And when I went to the thrift market last Sunday, I got a 10-pound bag of apples for $5. And these are a heirloom variety called Ida Red. And oh my goodness, these are the best apples I have ever tasted, ever. So I have printed off some recipes, which I will probably try and link in the description box down below after this is over and done with. They're just off of a regular website. It's called Love and Lemons, and they have like 20 different apple recipes there. So I've printed off the apple muffins, apple oatmeal cookies, apple crisp, and apple pie, and I know how to make applesauce. So we're gonna adjust these so that they're gluten and dairy free. So yeah, let's get to it. What are we gonna start with? It would be really nice if someone is in chat could let me know if you can hear me all right, but I'm gonna be regularly checking the volume to make sure that you can hear me. So we're gonna start off, I think, with the apple muffins. I can hear myself slightly here. We'll mute that. So it calls for 3/4 of a cup of flour, all-purpose flour. We're not going to be using all-purpose flour. We're going to be using Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1. And it's 3/4 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons. 3/4 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons. So now I have my eggs and my milk and everything laid out to room temperature. The key to gluten-free baking is to make sure everything is room temperature so that it won't seize anything up. So this is 1/4 cup. We're going to do 3 of these plus 2 tablespoons. And I know that it's also more beneficial too as well if you're doing gluten-free baking to have a scale and to weigh it rather than measuring it. That also will help you have your recipes turn out. 3/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons. Now, whenever I'm making a recipe, I don't follow the recipe. I normally just put a mishmash of all the things in. I know sometimes it's the wet ingredients and the dry ingredients and this and that, but we're just gonna throw it all in and see how it turns out. So this right now, we're making the crumble for the top of the apple muffins. The crumble. Okay, so it's 3/4. Oh, it was 1/2 cup, not 3/4 cup. Dang, because I was looking at the actual muffins. So we'll put that back. Okay, and now we're doing, so it's 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour. I guess we'll take out the 2 tablespoons as well. Not starting off very smartly. I don't know, can you hear the wind? You can hear the rattle of the oven fan, and I don't know if you can hear the wind blowing on the patio doors, but it's wild out there. I don't know, 70 kilometers, gusting to 90 or something like that. I don't know. But yes, very wild out there. So now we're going to do, apparently reading is hard, 1/3 cup of brown sugar. I'm using the dark brown sugar. I like the dark brown sugar. I guess it has more molasses in it. Yeah, 3/4 cup, 1/3 cup, sorry, of brown sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/4 cup of soft coconut oil, which we've got right here. 1/4 cup. Let me see, you can still hear me? Yep, we still have volume. We still have liftoff. So I'm going to go with a little less than 1/4 cup and see how that turns out. And then I wonder if I have some gloves here, because it would probably be easier if I had some gloves. But I guess we're going to use our hands, which is really unfortunate that I don't have any gloves. Any gloves? Any gloves? Any gloves? Okay. So you're going to combine this. It's kind of going to be like biscuit dough, or if you happen to make scones. It's going to be, and I'll show you here. I'll show you. It's going to be nice and crumbly. I wonder if I should add some oats to this. Would it be good to add a little bit of oats? I think it might be nice to add a little bit of some gluten-free oats. So preheat your oven. What are we gonna cook them at? 400. So preheat your oven to 400. We're going to make this crumble for the top of the muffins. I guess with the oats in it, it's going to probably be a little bit like a streusel. Though I don't really know what the difference is between streusel muffins and muffins. So there's that. So I'm there, and I will show you how it's nice and crumbly. And that's going to be our topping. And I'm going to set that aside in a separate bowl. And we're going to use this bowl for our muffin mix. So I'm going to wash my hands. Okay. And now we are going to make the muffins. And if you want to follow along, if you happen to be at home and you're wanting to make some recipes, these are just regular gluten recipes that I found off the website Love and Lemons, and I'm just modifying it to be gluten and dairy free. So if you want to join me and get in the kitchen and make some stuff together, that would be amazing. So we're gonna, what did we do with that 1/4 cup? Oh, we put it in the flour. So we're going to do 3/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons. 2, 3, 1/4 cup plus 1 plus 2 tablespoons. Then we're doing, I guess we're doing another 3/4 cup because the gluten recipe calls for 1.5 cups, half all-purpose flour and half wheat flour. So we're going to add another 3/4 cup. I guess I should have reviewed this recipe to see if I had everything here, because I see it also says to use some almond flour. Let's see if we got some almond flour in the freezer. I have a little bit of almond flour in the freezer, so we'll use the rest of that. I don't think it's going to be 1/2 cup though. So we're just winging it. So I'm going to add another 1/4 cup of, so that would be 1.5 cups, 1 3/4 of gluten-free 1-to-1. And next we're going to use a tablespoon of baking powder. A tablespoon? Really? A tablespoon of baking powder. That's what it says. And then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then 2 teaspoons of apple pie spice. Now I make my own homemade apple pie spice because a lot of the spices, especially like at places like Walmart, will have like mustard and shellfish and wheat and all of these things in their spices. So gluten can be hiding in lots of places. So we're going to add 2 teaspoons of apple pie spice. Then it says a half a cup of unsweetened almond milk. Now, in order for gluten-free recipes, for them to turn out the best, almond milk will actually dry out your recipes. And so it is best to use a soy milk for the protein or an oat milk for the starch. And that's going to have your gluten-free recipes turn out so much better than almond milk. So we're going to use a half a cup of almond milk, and I'm just using original, and it's room temperature. Almond milk. And we're gonna add a little bit of vanilla, measured by the heart, and 2 large eggs. And then 2 cups of peeled and diced apples. It's also good to let your, it also calls for a half a cup of applesauce, but since I don't have any homemade applesauce made yet, we're just going to use a snack pouch of some applesauce. Okay. It'll be interesting to see if this is going to turn out, since it's a gluten recipe. So next, what am I doing? Oh, it also says a half a cup of cane sugar and a quarter of a cup of avocado oil. Wow, I should probably be reading the recipe. Half a cup of cane sugar, which I've got this big bag of cane sugar right here. One ringy dingy, 2 ringy dingies, and then a quarter of a cup of an avocado or a neutral oil. So I'm just going to use a canola oil. There we go. Might be good to proofread. Proofread. Okay, am I missing anything else? 2 cups of diced apples. So let me put this over here, and we're going to dice up some of our delicious Ida Reds. I wonder how many apples would make 2 cups. Let me see. Going to put this on a plate so I can gather up all the peels. I'll set this over here. We'll get, this is a 1 cup measuring cup, so we will fill that up twice and add it to our muffin mixture. I guess maybe this is what I should have done first, but it is good to let your gluten-free batter sit for 5 to 10 minutes. So we're going to try and do these cubed. So what is everyone watching doing this evening? It's a Friday night. It is supper time where I am. So what are you having for supper? Or where are you located and what time is it in your part of the world? And have you ever tasted Ida Red apples before? Have you ever heard of them? Apparently the farmer that I bought them off of said that they're a winter heirloom variety, and I have to tell you, they are the best apple I have ever tasted. They are naturally incredibly sweet. They're like the perfect apple. Now I guess we're gonna have to wait and see how they're gonna be when it comes to baking and stuff. I don't know if we'll have time for apple pie today after we do muffins, apple crisp, cookies, and possibly applesauce, because I think we would be here for hours and hours if I made all 5 of these recipes. Okay, so it seems that this is, so how many apples was that? 3? I think so. I think 6 apples is 2 cups. Or, yeah, close to that. Close enough. Close enough. And what is your favorite thing to make with apples? Do tell. What is your favorite dessert? There's apple crumble, there's apple cake, apple sauce, apple pie, apple streusel, apple muffins, apple crisp, apple cider. Has anybody ever made homemade apple cider? I wonder how hard that is to make some homemade apple cider. I guess you'd probably need some kind of a press to squeeze out all of the juice. No idea. Okay, so I think it's probably 5 apples. But I'm sure it's not going to make any difference if you cut up 6 apples and use a little bit more than 2 cups of apples in your muffins. The more apples, the better, right? I mean, I've got this 10-pound bag that I have to use up, or that I would like to use up, because you can only eat so many apples. And what is your favorite way, or what is your favorite way to have apples? Do you like apples with a homemade caramel sauce? Do you like apples with peanut butter? Do you like apples with like a marshmallow fluff, dip, cream cheese? Okay. Now you know what? I think I am going to add, some more cinnamon, or some more, yeah, I think I'm going to add some more cinnamon. I think I'm going to add some more cinnamon. We have a runaway apple. A runaway apple. Okay. So now we're going to get out our apple pan, and I know it says to grease it. I was actually going to use muffin liners. I don't know what to do. Let's move this. Let's move this. And I think I'm going to try the muffin liners. I don't know. It can be tricky with gluten-free flour, because it can definitely stick. Gosh, I don't know what to do. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with the liner. But maybe I will spray under the liner. Let's try that. Then we'll put the liners in. Now what, I'm sure, now what is the instructions next? Preheat oven to 400, grease 12-cup muffin tin, make the crumble, make the muffins. Oh, it doesn't say how long. I didn't print off page 2, did I not? We're going to start off, I guess, at about... Usually muffins and cupcakes are like 18 to 22 minutes at 350. So we're going to try them at, I think, 15 minutes. Let me get another spoon. And I have no idea how much to put in. So we're just going to wing it and hope for the best. These are pretty full. So I'm just going to try and have them evenly over the 12 vessels. Okay, so then I think let me make sure I can still hear. There we go. We still have volume. Put those in the compost. Wash our hands. So I'll show you what these look like. There you go. And then we're going to put the crumble on top. I think you put the, I didn't print off page 2. So I'm hoping the crumble goes and I've got way too much. Way too much. I've got enough crumble for probably 36 muffins. So there's that. Okay. Okay. Okie dokie pokey. So let's place these in the oven. We'll start at about 12 minutes and we'll see how they turn out. We'll check them after 12 minutes. Going to put them in the middle. And I really hope that this gluten recipe will work being turned into gluten-free. It will be a lesson for sure. So that is our apple muffins. Now let's set our timer for 12 minutes. And that's the apple muffins. Then we'll do the apple oatmeal cookies. But I'm going to wipe off the counter or the island. You know, I picked up this island. I think $20. This woman posted it on Facebook Marketplace. This Butcher Block Island for $20. It's on wheels. It's got the places here for the knives. It's got this for your towels. I'm thinking about maybe sewing and putting up little curtain rods so that it's got a skirt around the bottom of it, which I think would be fabulous. Okay, now we're going to be making apple oatmeal cookies, which with adding a little bit of oats to the crumble, what else is on here? I could do applesauce, and then there's also apple crisp. So it's everything involving the oven. But I do have an air fryer, so I could potentially bake these in the air fryer. Potentially. Or something. Anyway, we'll see. Because the air fryer also has a convection oven option. So, I'm going to get this little casserole dish, and I think we're going to make the apple crisp next and put it in the air fryer to bake on the convection oven option. Okay, so now this does not, oh, this is the oatmeal cookies. I was going to say the oatmeal cookies are egg free. They have, I think they might be vegan because they're using a ground flax, but we may just add an egg. And it has almond butter, so we may add some peanut butter. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. And it also asks for applesauce, so we may make the apple crisp and the applesauce and then the cookies. Okay, apple crisp. Let's do that. Next, easy apple crisp. 6 large apples. 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. 2 teaspoons of fresh lemon juice. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm just going to use pumpkin pie spice because it has cinnamon, nutmeg, all the things, and sea salt. Okay, so 6 large apples. What did I do with my... Okay, so we're going to get out... I would have saved that other plate if I would have known. So I think I'm going to line this pan with, instead of cooking spray, I'm going to use a vegan butter. And I'm just going to grease the pan so that, there, I'll set that aside. And I've already got some crumble here left over from the muffins, so we'll be able to use that for the apple crisp. So now we're going to cut up 6 large apples. Well, I don't know how large these are, but we'll fill the pan, right? Preheat oven to 375, grease an 8x8 baking dish. Prepare the apples in a large bowl. Place the chopped apples, flour, brown sugar, lemon juice, vanilla, and toss. Okay. Let me use this bowl then. I don't have any vanilla yogurt or vanilla ice cream to go with this. So I actually have a delivery order coming from Walmart in about an hour. That's got some Soy Delicious dairy-free ice cream in it. And then it's also got some lactose-free vanilla ice cream in it. So hopefully Walmart has both of those in stock. And with this oven on, I'm melting, so I may need to go open the patio door and let out some of the heat. I know that when it was peach season, I also made a peach crisp, and I think I also made some peach muffins. If you happen to go back in the videos on my channel, you can definitely find those. So once this live is over and it processes and is uploaded to my channel, I will be sure to link these recipes that I have used in the description box, because anyone can make these since it's a gluten recipe I'm modifying. Yeah. And also, if you happen to be new to gluten-free, be sure to check out my Amazon storefront, as I have links to some of my basic gluten-free staples, necessities, if you happen to be recently going gluten-free. The key is to, get a few things at a time. I know that going gluten-free, man down, man down. The key to going gluten-free sometimes is, and to not overwhelm yourself, is just get a few things at a time. Get a few of your pantry staples, a good 1-to-1 flour. I know that gluten-free bread is crazy expensive. I do know that Walmart has some really, like here at our local superstore, you can get Catelli, gluten-free pasta, $3.99, $4.99 a package. And the exact same thing at Walmart is like $2.47. And you can get Great Value brand for like $1.47. So I highly recommend shopping around, and also check out the prices on Amazon. They might be a lot cheaper for you, especially if you maybe want to buy bulk, or what are some other good staples to have? I really think a good gluten-free baking powder for your baking, a gluten-free 1-to-1, some gluten-free pasta. I personally try to stay away from the pasta and bread myself, especially bread, because I don't know about you, but gluten-free bread is crazy expensive. And I do have a gluten-free bread recipe. It's a no-fail bread recipe. It's made with psyllium husk, but I know a lot of people are really sensitive to psyllium husk powder, and lots of times even gluten-free bread just doesn't agree with me. I don't know if it's the yeast, but yeah. What are some good gluten-free staples to have? Pasta, 1-to-1 flour, baking powder. What are other things that you have to watch out for? It's also good to have an all-purpose flour and a xanthan gum. Xanthan gum is what puts like the fluff or the binding into gluten. Like gluten is the ingredient in regular bread, regular gluten breads, that makes it like soft, fluffy, spongy, you know, makes it incredibly addictive. But that is the part that is missing and why it's so difficult to successfully have your baked goods like rise and be the same. Though they have come such a long way with so that's 6 apples and 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Oh, that's the timer for our muffins. That's what, 12 minutes? Do we have a... That seemed to go by really fast. Let's have a look. They smell incredible. But let's take them out. I don't know if you can see them there. I'm just going to set them here. Wow. They're completely clean. But I am going to put them in for 2 more minutes. I should probably look up maybe the recipe and see, because that was 12 minutes, right? Timer to start. Okay. 2 teaspoons. I don't have any fresh lemon juice, but I am going to use this lemon juice. Okay. And then we're going to go with, where's the 1 teaspoon? We're going to go with the pumpkin pie spice. I'm going to go with 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. Let's see that our volume is still working. Yep. That's great. And then a little bit of sea salt. And some vanilla. Vanilla, vanilla. Measure with the heart. Measure with the heart. I'll get a spoon. Am I missing something else? No. Okay, there's the muffins again. I should probably look up this recipe. Lemons, what is it? Love and lemons. Love and lemons. Apple, 20 easy apple recipes to try. Apple pie, baked apples, oat cookies, crumble, overnight oats. Did I pass it? Did I pass it? Yes, apple crisp. Oh no, I'm looking for the apple muffins, right? Wow. Apple cake, apple pie, apple cake, baked apples, oatmeal cookies, crumble, overnight oats. Oh, they're muffins. So let's see how long it says to bake them. Well, my batter looked exactly, but I definitely 17 to 22 minutes. So they've been in now for 12, 14, probably 15 minutes. So we're going to give them another 3 minutes. We'll try that. We'll try that. Okay. So now we'll put our apples into our compost. We'll wash our hands. We're going to take our pan and actually, you know what? That's not really a lot of apples for this pan. What do you think? I think I'm going to cut up a couple more. I think I'm going to cut up a couple more. I know I am. I know that the recipe calls for an 8x8 baking pan, and I feel like this one wouldn't be too much bigger. But that is the joy of trying out recipes, is that you can amend them to meet your needs, and sometimes the recipe may just not, when you actually make it, be what you're expecting. So sometimes, you know, it's definitely all right to mix it up, to make modifications on the fly. Okay. So that's 17 minutes, and it says 17 to 22 minutes, depending, I guess, on your oven. I guess I'm going to do one more, but we're going to check on the muffins first. I'm going to check on the muffins first. Let me see. See, I don't know if this is... because it's been coming out pretty clean from the get-go. But anyway, I'm going to, so we're at 18 minutes. I'm going to put them in for another 2 minutes. Going to put them in for another 2 minutes and have them, I know my cupcakes on average take 20 minutes. So we'll try these at 20 minutes. So 2 minutes, I'll watch the clock and not set a timer. I should have probably emptied my dishwasher before I started so that I can load all of my dirty dishes into the dishwasher instead of having them on the sink, because this is 3 plates now. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of flour, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt, some cinnamon, some lemon juice. And we're going to combine this well and just put this on top of. So by adding the flour, it kind of makes a roux as your apples bake, rather than having them like really, really juicy and having a lot of liquid. The same when you make your apple pie. So I would think that this recipe, if you happen to make this recipe, either gluten-free or just regular, I would go with 10 apples. This is 10 apples, and I feel like that's going to fit good in the in this baking dish. And I think that the muffins are going to come out of the oven perfectly. There we go. There they are. And hopefully 20 or 21 minutes will be enough. So now I'm going to take the rest of this crumble that I've got left over from the muffins, and I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of oats. 3/4 of a cup of oats. This is a 1 cup measuring cup, so we'll not quite fit it all the way. So 3/4 cup of gluten-free. These are steel cut oats, not the quick oats. 2 tablespoons of flour, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I think I'm going to put the brown sugar, but I've already got the flour. I've already got some flour in here. 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, vanilla extract. teaspoons. Ooh. And cinnamon, and your sea salt. And a half a cup of cold unsalted butter, cubed, plus more for the pan. There. So we have some of this basil. Now it says it's supposed to be cold. This is not cold. And it says a half a cup. Half a cup. And these have the measurements on the side, which is exactly a half a cup. Actually, let me stir this up a little bit. Let me stir this up a little bit. I think I'm going to add half of this because I feel like it's already slightly wet. So I'm going to put that in there. And we're going to combine this. I guess you could also use the coconut oil as well. The softened coconut oil, that would keep it dairy free as well. And I think a quarter of a cup is definitely a lot, is plenty. Okay. I would probably err on, because this was soft plant-based butter, I would go with the coconut, or make sure that it's cold, because it's definitely not, it's very gummy. It's not crumbly at all. And it's not really enough either. Probably because it's soft. Now let me wash my hands. I am going to spread this out. Going to add some more oats, some more cinnamon, some more brown sugar, that will make it a little drier and a little bit more like a crumble. So it's definitely very important that you either use the soft coconut oil or you use the cold basil rather than using the soft, because it just makes it like mush. So learn from moi. So I think now I'm going to place this in my air fryer. I think I might have my air fryer. Let me see if this pan fits first. It does fit, but not with the lid. So I'm just going to put on some aluminum foil. So I'm going to preheat the air fryer to convection bake 375. And how long does it say to cook? 35 to 40 minutes. We'll check it after 35. So we'll let that preheat. So then we can go ahead with our cookies. We've got our oven for that. So, I'm going to place this in the air fryer for 35 to 40 minutes. Now where am I going? Easy apple crisp. And then I think we're going to make the apple oatmeal cookies, and we'll probably call it after these 3 recipes. So now I need to get myself a bowl. I'm actually going to place these muffins I don't know, they seem pretty doughy. They seem pretty doughy. I think they need to go. I don't think I should have used the papers because they're pretty sticking to the papers. Not good. Not good. So they were in for 18 minutes. We'll put them in for another 4 minutes. And we'll see how that goes. So now we're doing the... What did I do with my spoon? What did I do with my spoon? Do with my spoon? Do with my spoon? So maybe these recipes aren't going to translate very well to gluten-free. And I probably should have heeded their advice and not put in liners. Yeah. So, let's 4 minutes. Okay. So now we're going to use 1 egg. And 1.5 cups of flour. 6.5 cups of flour. One. I think that's probably the rest of this bag. 2. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Oh, that was baking powder. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Reading is hard. I'll take that out. So it's supposed to be 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I was thinking cookies didn't require baking powder. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Half a teaspoon of salt. Quarter of a cup of a neutral oil. A half a cup of almond butter, but I'm going to use peanut butter. Vanilla, half a cup of brown sugar. That is the muffins. Half a cup of brown sugar. Teaspoon of vanilla. One cup of rolled oats. Cup of rolled oats. Quarter cup of raisins. It also has walnuts that are optional. I am going to omit the walnuts. I like these raisins because they're just raisins. I don't know if you happen to be shopping for nuts and raisins and all of that stuff, but there's a lot of it that has sulfites and other allergens, and I don't know about you, but I'm highly allergic to sulfites. So I like that the sun-made raisins in the container that you get, that's what you get, raisins. And then we're going to do an apple. Did I do the flour? Yes, I did the flour. What else does it say? It also calls for a little bit of applesauce, but I don't think I have any applesauce left. So what can I use instead of applesauce? Let me see. What can you use instead of applesauce? Apple sauce. Fruit puree, mashed ripe bananas. Well, that's what we're gonna go with. Mashed bananas. I have some bananas that I was saving for banana bread. So we're going to use this. I'm going to use one banana instead of the applesauce. Oh, did I take, yeah, I did. I was going to say, did I take those muffins out? This up. Oh my gosh, they smell so good. Okay. So, I kind of wish I would have some of those nylon gloves. I'll have to put them on my list. so let's move some of this out of the way. Put the eggs and the milk back in the fridge. Okay, so I'm going to get a cookie sheet. Going to get our parchment paper. I love these parchment paper. I get them at the local Dollarama. 10 sheets for like $1. And just amazing. Put all of our cups, get everything out of the way. Put these here. And let me see. What does it say? 12 to 15 minutes. We're going to bake them 12 to 15 minutes. I'm not totally sure if we're supposed to press them down. Maybe I will roll them and press them down with a fork. I think we're going to move these there. How many cookies is this supposed to make? Doesn't say. Does not say. Okie dokie. Gonna get a fork. I'm gonna press these down. And we're going to bake them. We're going to start off at 12 minutes and see how that goes. Okay, set the timer for 12 minutes. There we go. put this in the compost. Do you happen to compost where you guys are located? Here we have to separate our compost, our recycles, and our waste, which makes it very difficult if you have some place that's hot. Even if you don't have some place that's hot, I know that it is January and we still have those little fruit flies. I have to like treat down my sink, and it's just, they're so hard to get rid of once you get them. I mean, we take out our compost almost every day so that we don't have any, you know, compost food for the flies. And I even have these little traps. Show what they look like. They look like little apples. You can get them at your local Canadian Tire. I got a set. Now I just make my own liquid. I just put in some apple cider vinegar and a little bit of honey. And they're little traps. I have them set here at the sink. And yeah. But they are a bugger to get rid of. Absolute mayhem. So I'm going to put some of this stuff away. And I think I've learned my lesson when it comes to the muffins, that I should have not used the parchment paper. I mean, the liners. These have been cooked for 22 minutes, and they definitely feel really soft. I'm not sure they're going to come off the parchment paper, which is such a shame. But it said, spray the tin. It said not to use cupcake liners. So it's my own fault. These will probably be like mini apple cakes. Mini apple cakes. Okay, now let me see. Now those cookies definitely don't spread. They do not spread. They do not spread. Okay, so we've got 15 more minutes left on our apple crisp. We've got 7 more minutes on our cookies. So this is how our muffins turned out, our apple muffins, and they look absolutely fabulous, and they smell, oh my gosh, they smell like apple pie. They smell absolutely amazing, but they are still really warm, so I'm going to wait until they completely cool before I try one. So there we go. There we go, there we go. So I'm going to slowly clean up after myself. know, last weekend and this coming weekend, I signed up for a market. I do some gluten and dairy-free cupcakes and scones that I sell at this market. And they're supposed to be calling for a significant amount of snow on Sunday, and I'm really, really, really hoping that it doesn't end up getting canceled, because when you make a significant investment in your ingredients and you're counting on going to some kind of a fair, you want to be able to go, because the week after I'm going to Halifax. My sister was recently diagnosed with cancer, adenocarcinoma, and she's going over for a really big surgery, and I'm going to be over there with her and being at the hospital with her every day and driving her home. It's about a 4-hour drive home. So I was just really wanting to be able to attend this fair. It gives extra funds to be able to go over to Halifax and spend a week that you're going to have off and all the things. So I really, really hope that this fair doesn't get, this market doesn't get canceled on Sunday. So yeah. So that's that. Let me see how much time is left. 4 minutes for the cookies, 12 minutes for the, let me see. I know, I do think I might have done a short video during my Vlogmas Christmas baking series. I might try and link it in the description box down below after this live is over. And it's a GoFundMe that I had started for my sister. My sister is, she's an RCW, and she left her job last year to be full-time caregiver for my parents. My mom is 82 and has Alzheimer's, and my stepdad has breathing and mobility issues. He's going to be 90 years old. So obviously she's got a lot of responsibility. We have a lot of things that we have to pay for in order for her to go off island and have her surgery. She has 2 beautiful dogs that we have to put in a kennel for a week or 2. We have to find care for my parents while she goes over that we have to pay for out of pocket. So there's just so many things that are, you know, have to be covered. And you don't want to not be able to get the best health care possible because you have these expenses that you got to cover. So yeah, I know it's a really tough time of year with it being Christmas and just after Christmas, but if you happen to have even an extra $5, go back. I'll try and link to the short, but I think it's called, I think it says cancer diagnosis or something like that. Let me see my shorts. I think it's called, yeah, cancer diagnosis. I'm wearing my green and red little elf hat. But yeah, that's what's going on in my world. That is what's going on in my world. Very grateful to be able to go over and drive her over, take care of my sister, and bring her home. You know? I'm super happy that I'm available. Those look kind of ready. What did it say? I was kind of hoping that the ice cream would be delivered by the time I was done with all of this, so that we can have a nice scoop of apple crisp with some ice cream. I thought I had delivery for between 7 and 8, but maybe it's between 8 and 9. It says your order is on the way, out for delivery. That was 1 minute ago. So, and there's 9 minutes left on the apple crisp. And, see, there's a little fruit fly. I just saw one. Oh, if you have any idea on how to get rid of those, especially when you have, like, obviously, we put our dishes right in the dishwasher. There's no dishes that are left. I try and put stuff down the drain, like bleach and stuff, so that they don't feed off of whatever goes down the drain. I have the traps out. I take out the compost every day. Normally we don't start to get fruit flies until the end of the summer. Normally we get through the whole summer without having them. They don't seem to come about until like late August or September, but I can never get rid of them till this time of year. Till this time of year. Okie dokie. Let's see. They're probably super hot to touch with my hands. Oh my gosh, they smell so good. You can smell the peanut butter. You can smell the apples. Did I forget to put apples in these? I don't even think they called for apples. They called for applesauce, and instead I put in bananas. Did it call? 3/4 of a cup of finely chopped apple. And I forgot. So I think that I will chop up an apple. Oh gosh. You know, for those of you out there that, and I know that when Becky does her videos, she edits hers, she records them all, probably does them like this, and then edits out all the parts like this where you make a mistake. But she makes it, for those of you that watch her from Acre Homestead, she makes it look so easy and absolutely flawless. And, I mean, I think we're all on baby watch now, right? I know on their last video that she posted, it was before Christmas, and she was 35 weeks. So she would be, and I think she was being induced, right? So it's how many weeks? Yeah, it's definitely 4 weeks since she probably recorded that video. So I'm hoping baby girl has arrived safely, and that she's and Josh are all loved up in new parent and motherhood. And that everything went smoothly. So I'm now going to combine these apples into these cookies. This is hilarious. This is hilarious. I'm making apple oatmeal cookies, and I forgot to add the apple. Nice work. Well, at least half the cookies are going to have apple. At least half the cookies are going to have apple. guess I probably also didn't make them small enough. Large enough. Well, sometimes when you're in the kitchen, you just have to roll with the punches. Go with the flow. As they say. This one a little bit bigger. So hopefully we're going to hear the buzzer ring any minute, and that our ice cream is going to be here. Our apple crisp has 2 minutes and 48 seconds. Let's turn it upside down. So, 12 to 15 minutes. Seems my memory is good, but it's short. Okay, so I'm going to place these back in the oven for 12 minutes. Let's start off with 12 minutes. Set the timer. Let me see if I can try these, if these are cooled, what they taste like. You can taste the banana. You don't really taste the peanut butter. Taste the raisins. I mean, they are lovely. They're almost like a breakfast cookie. Or like a breakfast oatmeal cookie. They are very, very good. Okay, that is super yummy. Wow. It'll be interesting to see what they taste like. It'll be interesting to see what they taste like with the apples. So, let us now take, I wonder if I should cook the apple crisp for a couple of minutes with the foil off. Yeah, let me do that. Because it said how long? 375. I wonder if there's a broil option. Yes, there is. But we're not going to put it. We'll try it for 3 minutes. We'll try a broil option for 3 minutes. To see if we can get the top nice and crusty. Get a spoon. Those cookies are in the oven, so I'll leave this out here. We'll get ourselves a spoon. I wonder if the driver is having a difficult time finding. Because, well, it's only been 13 minutes since I was told. And there was some items not available. Oh, but it wasn't the ice cream, so that's good. That is excellent. Let me see. The only thing is that he would be texting me on my phone if the driver would be, if he couldn't find my place. Oh. There. I turned it off too quickly. It had preheated to broil, and then I turned it off. So we'll give that another 3 minutes. Give it another 3 minutes. So the cookies have 6 minutes and 38 seconds. Let's check our muffins and see if the paper will come off. Definitely. I think if I leave them to cool, they'll be fine. But here are the muffins with the apple inside. They're not super sweet. You can really taste the cinnamon. You can really taste the apple, which is amazing. And I think if I let them completely cool, that the liner will come off just fine. But don't do as I do. Don't use a cupcake liner for these apple muffins. lovely. And you know what? Out of that 10-pound bag, we had a few with some peanut butter, but I ended up having, how many? 10, 16, 10 for the apple crisp, 6 for the muffins, and 4 for the cookies? Or 1 for the cookies? So, let us see the apple crisp. There we go. Let's see. I wonder if the convection bake is... No, you know what? That does not make them soft like in the oven. The apples are still pretty crisp. So I think what I'm going to do, so at least now that I know that they would probably do better let me see. Yeah, I think they'll do better in a regular oven. So I'm going to bake these. So we're not gonna, you did get to see, but I want the apples softer. The apples are fine, but I would like the apples softer, like on apple pie. And these are not soft like on apple pie. And that was after being, what, 19 minutes or something? And now it did say, I think, 19 to 25, so I could definitely put it back in the convection oven for another 10 minutes. But I think once these cookies are done, I'm going to put it actually in my regular oven. I think I'll be happier with that. Personally. So I'm going to, what did I do with my, I'm actually going to take the rest of my stick of basil. I am going to melt it. I'm going to pour it over this and bake it in the oven for another 10 minutes. And I am really surprised that our ice cream has not arrived yet, so that we can try it. But at least you know that the apple crisp probably won't cook up right in an air fryer, even under the convection oven setting. Or if you do, it's probably gonna at least be 30 minutes. I think this recipe said 20 to 30 minutes, so I think it would be more 30 minutes. So if you had a choice, I would do it in a conventional oven. The cookies, don't forget to add your apples. Your muffins, don't use cupcake liners. So those are the lessons that we learned in taking a regular gluten recipe and trying to make it gluten-free. And I would say it's a success in turning them into gluten-free. Doing the suggestions that I said rather than what I actually did. And these cookies are ready. There we go. I find the cookies, I think the cookies are a little dry. instead of adding the banana, I would definitely stick with the applesauce or possibly add more than one mashed banana. So that's another thing. Probably don't substitute the applesauce. Plus then your cookies are going to have a much more like apple flavor. So we're going to put that in there and turn it down to 350. And we're going to set the timer for about, it was in there for 20 minutes. We're going to set it for 10 minutes. So yes, those are the lessons that we learned today from trying to take conventional gluten-based recipes and modifying them to make them gluten-free. Stick with the applesauce and not mashed bananas in your cookie recipe. Don't forget to add the chopped apples. Don't use cupcake liners when you make your muffins. And cook the apple crisp in a conventional oven. So, yeah. I mean, how long have we been live? I have no idea. We've been live for 117 minutes. So, thanks everyone for tuning in today. You got to see what it's like to try and modify regular recipes, turning them into gluten and dairy free, and how they'll turn out. And those are the lessons that we learned, and I hope that you really enjoyed this. And I'm going to try and do a live. I'm going to try and do a live for sure once a month. I'm not going to probably be doing a live. What is the date today? Before I go over to Halifax and be with my sister for her big surgery. So I won't be back doing a live till like the week about between February 8th and 14th, but maybe we can do some nice like Valentine's Day treats. That would be absolutely amazing. So I hope to see you all then. Send all of your prayers and wishes to my beautiful sister, and we'll see everyone again soon. Thanks for tuning in to my live. Be sure to give a thumbs up, subscribe, all the things that YouTube really loves for you to do. Thanks again. See you soon, guys. Bye-bye. I don't know how to stop it. How do we stop the live? I have no idea. Okay, let's see if we can do this. We're ending the stream. Bye, y'all.